Oh, howdy, y'all. Welcome to another Office Hours. Capsule. That's right. Capsule. This is a small section of my Office Hours live stream I do on twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropublive at Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Love to have you come down live and join chat here as we talk about Star Citizen lore, news, and more. Yeah, chat's lying to you. But the reason why I have my Drake hat on is because it's Drake time, baby. We're going to do a Q&A read-through of the Drake Ironclad. Why? Because it's one of those ships that was very popular during the IAE, and there was a lot of questions that were to be had that were answered through this Q&A. So join me as we read through the Q&A. All right. So, what ships are the main competitors to the Ironclad and the Ironclad Assault? For example, how does it compare with the Crusader Hercules, as it seems to be better in every aspect? The Anvil Liberator and the Crusader Hercules are the Ironclad's closest competitors. The Liberator is dedicated vehicle transporter, so naturally, it excels at that, though its cargo remains relatively exposed. The C2 and the M2 Hercules are the closest on-paper competitors, providing enclosed cargo capacity and the option for multiple turrets. However, the Ironclad Assault beats the latter, while the base Ironclad beats the former in cargo capacity. So it's an upgrade. Can the Ironclad be used as a mini carrier? And what is the biggest ship that it could fit in the retractable roof? It can. However, the cargo bay is designed for cargo metrics, so it doesn't conform to standard hangar dimensions, with the current maximum dimensions being 40 by 21 by 7.5 meters. So that would put it, if I remember correctly, at a single very small ship. So I think, let me look it up real quickly. I want to say that all right, to give you context, I'm going to look up the Freelancer. The Freelancer's length is 38 meters, its width is 23.5 meters, and its height is 9.5 meters. I think the Cutlass is a little bigger, yeah. So the Hornet would scrape the roof. The Hornet is 28.25 meters length, width 25.5 meters. So it's actually too big for this length as well. So you're looking at a cutter, maybe? Yeah, a cutter. It can hold one cutter. Maybe a buck, yeah. So keep that in mind. Bear in mind, the roof does not retract over the full volume, limiting the maximum length. Of course, this may change during production. Even if it doesn't retract over the full volume, you can still fly it in as long as your width is the same. You can kind of nose it in. It's just not, it's going to be a little awkward for that. So. Will the Ironclad have a retraction roof like the base version? So this is the question that I brought up in the Inforunners episode we did on this, and I still think it's an important one to look at, because it did not seem to specify that it had one, and that was a big question. But they say here, yes, the retraction roof is a shared element between the two versions. However, the tractor beam setup is removed, so utility is significantly compromised in the Assault version. Doesn't matter, it still has the repair bay. The question is, what will those repair bay do? But we'll talk about here in a moment. Will either version have a strong VTOL thrusters to assist in atmospheric flight? Both versions have identical thruster layouts, including integrated VTOL thrusters underneath. Is there any armory in the Assault? An armory isn't shown in the Assault cutaway, but during production, we'll be looking at the best place for one, likely in the front central area where the secure storage is on the base Ironclad. The Ironclad Assault has a repair bay as an installed feature. Is this bay going to be able to repair more than just vehicles? For example, could it repair ship components as well? Yes. Repair facilities are not restricted by type, but more by volume and resources. We'll discuss repair and crafting in more detail in the future, as it's a topic more expansive than this Q&A. So, this confirms that the repair facility on the Assault is also a crafting facility. So any repair facilities are also constructions. So that's big. This is not just a like an Ironclad thing. This is like any ship with a repair feature is now a construction vehicle. So how will the self-destruction feature work on the Ironclad? Can I initiate self-destruction in the command module and detach and fly away, or will the command module will also be self-destruct mode? There are two independent self-destruct systems on the command module and one in the main hull. Setting it off in the command module will self-destruct both if attached, while the main hull of the base can be triggered from the control room. Okay. More guns, no tractor beam, as well as an armory. Yeah. This is another interesting one. Is the command module shared between the Ironclad and the Caterpillar? They looked almost identical. The answer is they are compatible, but the Ironclad's module is a redesign from the original Caterpillar, one that retains a lot of its features. So they're two separate versions that you can swap, which is neat. If you detach the command module, does the Ironclad become a flying brick, or can you still steer it from the ship after? The Ironclad is exclusively flown from the command module. With it detached, the main hull can no longer fly independently. However, it retains power, cooling, and other functionalities like tractor beam control and self-defense. So you can't control it, but you could use all the functions on board. So you could do something like land an Ironclad Assault onto a planet, detach the command module, fly away, and you've got yourself a base module. Because it can build and repair things. You can drive things on and off of your vehicles and get them replaced. All of the functionality of that core area is still there. It just can't move. It becomes a drop base. Yeah, that's good at putting it. How will insurance handle the detaching of command module and loss of a main ship? We're currently working on how insurance will work with the Ironclad. We'll talk more about this subject closer to the ship's flyable release. Will the command module have a quantum drive? Yes, there is a quantum drive aboard the command module to facilitate independent quantum travel. Is the ship's quote-unquote heavy armor actually heavy? How is it represented in game, as armor isn't a thing yet in the mechanics? Relative to other ships of its size class, it's heavily armored, and that implementation will be appropriate to the mechanics in place at the time of launch. Basically meaning that this is not coming out until armor is in, and armor is at least a year away, if not longer, which makes sense. Is the interior turret a tractor beam or defense turret? The interior turret at the rear of the cargo bay is a defense turret, which is another interesting thing. And now you have a gun inside of your ship, a turret you can operate inside of your ship to fight off boarders, which is an interesting addition. Does the Assault have tractor beams? They're listed on the base, but on the Assault. No, the Assault trades all its tractor beams for more firepower. If you still wish for the tractor beams around on board the Assault, you should bring in either FPS tractor beams or a tractor-capable ship. 315p, baby. How will gravity in the cargo bay be handled? Will this Caterpillar have an air shield over the top like the Caterpillar has in the front, for example? If someone is EVAing near the top of the ship to help load cargo, it seems like a great way to fall inside the ship and get a T2 broken leg injury. Sounds like a Drake design feature. There is no air shield at the top of the cargo bay. Once opened, it vents the void of space, and care must be taken in scenarios listed. Some people thought that this might be an indication that there will be a air shield in front with Caterpillar. No, I think the air shield's idea from Drake is gone, but that would be a good thing to ask. And that's the last one. So, there's a lot of information we can glean from this, not just from the Drake Ironclad, but from a lot of different things. Like, for instance, repair now also means crafting. So any repair ship is also a crafting ship. Interior defense turrets. When this is going to come out is after armor is in. The command module is swappable between the Caterpillar and the Ironclad. And the Assault does, in fact, have a roof that you can retract. So that is a very neat, tidy sort of thing, and includes some straight-up confirmations of gameplay in it, too, which is nice. There are some questions, like, for instance, can we buy the command module separately? Like, because, for instance, if you are using the Caterpillar, and you have the Caterpillar command module, the Caterpillar command module comes with a tractor beam. So that would be a much better addition to a Ironclad than the Ironclad's version, because you could detach, in theory, detach from the Ironclad, fly around, load up cargo as you need to, and then come back, redock, and attach with the Caterpillar and fly away. Now, the question still remains, can you detach and reattach, or is it a emergency quick pull, kind of like an injection seat where you can't put it back in there? So there's still some questions in there as well. But that is it for our little capsule here, read through. If you like stuff like this, I can start doing this more often with Q&As and other small updates. I mostly do this for monthly reports and other things like this, but I found that this was a very important hot topic, and as people seem to not really know that this was going on, so I wanted to add this in because this is only released on Monday. As always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and hit the bell icon to be notified when these release, and of course when I go live, which is on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Love to have you come by and watch and hang out with chat who are liars and tell you this is pre-recorded. And with that all being said, like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.